guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel and the prep series. So today's episode I have Lloyd. Lloyd is my boyfriend and my coach, so I thought I'd do a bit of a video on how it works with him coaching me and also being my boyfriend. So I put out a Q&A on Instagram and we've got some questions to go through. So yeah, do you want to say hi?
Hello.
So the first question is, when did you start getting coached by Lloyd? And this started, we were together around, I don't know, 6 months. And I'd just gone on holiday with the girls, and then when I came back, Lloyd said he would help me because I wanted to lose weight / body fat.
I can't remember any of this, so
yeah, it was like I was going to Ibiza and then I came back and I'd had some advice from people in the gym and they dropped my carbs really low, so I got Lloyd to help me when I came back. And then last year when I decided on competing, I asked Lloyd if he thought I could do it, and yeah, went from there, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember that initial where everything started. I can't actually remember it very well, so I can't really comment. But yeah.
But ever since then, you've done kind of everything.
Yeah.
For every holiday, that kind of thing. And then my next question is, why do you get coached by Lloyd and not a prep coach, so like bodybuilding coach? And like my reason is nobody knows me as well as Lloyd does in terms of like how my body responds, like my digestion issues, how it works with like me. Oh, Simba's not happy. How it works with like my training around classes and that kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if
it was more so the digestion stuff, wasn't it? Because obviously she's a very complicated case with IBS. Wasn't a big meat fan, and then turned into, well, you went vegan for a bit, didn't you?
Yeah.
So I know just from my experience of knowing other coaches and knowing the industry that if she went to another classic bodybuilding coach, it wouldn't be very forgiving on the nutrition front, given her circumstances and her specific situation, and then combine that with what she just mentioned there with her her job, which is very active, and I saw that as very similar to what I was doing as my role, because I originally worked full-time in sport with athletes, and a lot of my background has been making strength conditioning programs, making kind of nutrition programs alongside what people are doing in their sport. And that's essentially what I saw with Mel, is that obviously she's a class instructor doing how many classes a week?
I was doing like 20.
Yeah, doing upwards of 20. So then trying to make you know, a bodybuilding show work alongside that, it can't just be a copy and paste program, which is unfortunately what I see a lot of in the bodybuilding coaching kind of circuit. You know, just copy and paste meal plans of what foods like the coaches like, and again with Mel that just wasn't going to stick, and I think me talking about that a lot as well has kind of rubbed off on her a little bit, on me kind of saying how much of a shambles the industry is, and how poor some people's services are. It's funny, but it's also not really. Yeah. But it's so I think that rubbed off on her a little bit. But again, from my point of view, I was seeing it from an athlete standpoint, where she's got a very high kind of workload, like physical workload already with her classes, and then obviously the nutrition things made it a bit more complicated.
I think a lot of people think I can be on higher calories than I actually can as well. Like when I speak to random people in the gym who are like bodybuilding coaches, they just assume that I could easily eat 2,000 calories and be in a deficit, when it's like I'm 5'1". It's not the case ever. But yeah, it just never really crossed my mind. Like, I don't know who I'd pick, and I think that is probably because you've like
yeah
the way you are about it all.
But yeah, it's just I do this with all my clients. I try and use my background in sports science and apply it to everyone's situation, and especially with Mal. Again, like I said, having worked with athletes before with high workloads where recovery is kind of something that needs to be optimised, you know, finding the balance between what she needs to do to get good results for her shows, and then also work alongside it. Obviously, is quite a balance for recovery. And again, I don't know many coaches that are much better than a lot of the sports scientists I've worked with, or you know, some of the stuff I've gone through myself with my degree and master. So again, I do back myself a little bit on that front, but I do see Mel as like a very specific case where she's not just someone that's gone, right, I want to do a bodybuilding show, I'm willing to do whatever it takes and eat whatever it takes. That's not her situation, and that's why a normal coach really wouldn't do you, or you'd have to cover a lot of ground with a new coach to get to where you want to go, and even then their knowledge on protein sources from, you know, vegan,
not eating meat,
there's just so many examples, but yeah, that's what I'll say.
How does it work with check-ins, or like how do we work together?
So what we used to do is we used to wing it big time.
I don't think it worked very well last year.
I mean, we did make like weekly changes, and we did make them like set what we were going to do, but I kind of decided that instead of getting like random questions here and there, which sometimes in the evenings, like more recently, my evenings, instead of working through my evenings, I like to be really chilled out in the evenings, and then Mel would just pop up that we work with.
What do I do now?
Yeah.
What's my next change?
Some random question. I'm just like, it's too late for me. But so now we actually have a structured check-in, and in my head, I treat Mel, when I look at the numbers, you know, nutrition information, body weight, and all, you know, training numbers, I look at that quite subjectively, and I don't, you know, I like to base my decisions off the feedback I'm getting from the numbers. If anyone's seen my coaching sheets, they're quite comprehensive in regards to what we track. Probably should. No, well, I would say we should probably share that, but we can't really, can I? I don't think our editing skills are not there yet. But
I'm not sure.
Anyway,
I'll try and put a screenshot in, maybe.
We track quite a lot, and I don't let who Mel is in relation to me affect my decisions on what decisions need to be made to get her results, and to see those numbers go where we need to go. And again, if we know body weight goes in a certain way, training numbers are looking good, nutrition numbers, and kind of some of the sports science well-being numbers that we track, so appetite, hunger, if sleep is good. Again, if I can see all these numbers are good, generally I know the results on the other end of that are going to be pretty good. So I like to look at that quite subjectively and kind of ignore that Mel's my girlfriend. And then I like to make decisions on that. And we do proper check-ins, so I treat Mel just like any other client. It's the same way when I coach myself as well. I treat myself like I've got my own Google Sheets. She's got her own Google Sheets, because that's how I do things with clients. So yeah, we used to wing it big time, but now we do proper. I sit down, I give her actually written feedback. Again, it's weird because I do pretend like she's a client, but again, I prefer that because I like to have written information down that we know exactly what we're doing for her. And again, that works pretty well. And again, I just make all the changes weekly as I would do with a normal client, and it works all right, doesn't it?
Yeah, the progress tracker is it's really good for me to see as well, like my trends in weight, you know, steps, how I actually feel week to week, because you forget, like, halfway through the week you might forget how you felt. But yeah, no, it works well. Sometimes he is a little bit blunt, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's normally when I'm not in the mood to answer a question. Again, it's probably like 10 o'clock at night and she asks me something silly, but
no, it's fine. Do you have to switch between boyfriend and coach, or is he supportive in both? I'm not really sure on this question. I think it's just kind of more like, how do you manage it? But I think because, especially now we have our own like check-in day, it's easier because there is like that separation between like when we're just kind of chilling at home and not like working or whatever. But no, he's supportive in both. I know that the thing with me, with Lloyd, is that I know he has my best interest, and it's not kind of like he's just going to give me, he doesn't really care. So because it's so in-depth, yeah, it's just, it works well. I can't describe, it doesn't work for everybody. Like, I think a lot of people argue, or maybe they'll think like, they'll want to question why the coach has decided to do this. But because I trust him, it works. I really didn't really make sense, but...
Yeah, I don't really was. I mean, we never ever have any problems with it, do we? You know?
No. Like, people always think like, oh, they always say to me, how do you do it? And I'm like, well, it's just easy. I just do as I'm told. I quite like to be kind of just told what to do in the training and nutrition respect of things. And And you don't have to think about it, especially in prep. I wouldn't want. I mean, I know you coach yourself, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, because we've done it quite a few times now for like what 3 years or 2 and a bit years.
Yeah.
Or whatever. She kind of knows that the decisions I make they're okay because we've done it before, and it's got us to where we want to go before. And obviously, we've had a chat about the changes that we're going to make this year. So we're fairly clear on the the process. And again, she's got confidence in it. Obviously, I've got confidence in it.
Yeah,
Sometimes
we know what works.
to do it, but yeah. So it's not like this is our first time doing prep or whatever. So
no.
She's got a little bit more confidence behind the decisions I'm making. I wish I could remember what it was first like, to be fair, but I can't remember what I was first like when we were doing it. But I know it wasn't as set up as we've got it now.
No, it wasn't as smooth sailing.
No. What's the next question?
Do you ever question his methods? Not really. I might ask the question, like, why? Or I think with me, I'm more like, why are we not doing more straight away? But that's just me being impatient.
Yeah, it's tough for me because I've come from a completely different background of research and kind of exercise science, where everything is kind of black and white, like the research either supports this or supports that. But Mel's got a bit of a different background where she's come from a different place, and it's some of the stuff that I apply comes from some like the elite sports science that's been used in professional sport, which a lot of that hasn't come into the fitness industry yet. A lot of it isn't applied in bodybuilding. Only some of the top coaches are actually doing like some well-being monitoring and fatigue. They're monitoring their fatigue, they're measuring their sleep and things like that. It's only just coming into bodybuilding. So a lot of the things that I do, a lot of people question because it's not been done in bodybuilding. It's been done in sports science a lot. Like some of the sports scientists I work with and stuff, some of the stuff they're doing actually blows my mind. Some of the PhDs that I've worked alongside and stuff, it blows my mind the amount of knowledge that they have. But a lot of that isn't in the bodybuilding industry yet. So there are some things that I do that Mel probably, again, I can't think of anything examples to be fair, but there are probably some things that are just like, oh, why are we doing this? Because there aren't any other bodybuilding coaches doing this or whatever. But it's probably most of the time it's something I've pulled from sport or a good strength and conditioning coach that has a very good understanding of physiology. Because again, that's what this all is underpinned by, is just having a good understanding of the basics of physiology and nutrition. And again, if you understand that, all the decisions that are made on that they're pretty easy decisions to make, because again, you understand kind of the basics of it. And again, if she asks me about it, I'm happy to tell her. Yeah. I don't program anything that I don't understand very well, just because there's, it's not going to work, is it? I don't know what the fuck it but yeah.
Does he make you wear those horrendous finger toe shoes?
So yeah.
Lloyd's got a thing about foot health. And
not much anymore, to be fair.
You don't really wear them anymore, but the five finger.
Yeah, they smell really bad. Yeah.
They're not nice. The shoes that look like gloves, but they're on your feet. You know, like the toe socks. That's what.
Vibrams, yeah. So
Vibrams,
yeah. So again, this is something I've pulled from a kind of like performance side of things, from a strength and conditioning background. And foot function is incredibly important. Something that's like never talked about. It's incredibly important. Again, when you think about it, if your foot is what connects you to the ground, if that's weak, if that's unstable, your squats are going to be crap, walking's going to be crap, running's going to be crap. Everything you do, where your foot is connecting you to the ground, is potentially going to be affected if you've got weak or unstable feet. And again, that's not to mention all the foot issues you can have. So again, this is another example of where, I come from a performance background. I work with athletes where I've trained a lot of athletes barefoot to strengthen their feet. I've had a lot of athletes injured because they've got weak feet. I've had a lot of clients, a lot of PT clients that have had problems because they have weak feet. So that's a good example of something that I've invested a lot of time and effort into. Again, I don't really do much anymore.
Maybe something I question.
Yeah, again,
I don't wear those shoes, no chance.
Mel's actually very kind of injury. You never get injured, to be fair. You touch wood. So again, if there are any problems like that, I do highlight Mel. But to be fair, Mel is like an athlete, very robust. Like, she doesn't fucking break. So yeah, but that was I mean, I know who's asking that question. It's banter, but it's to answer the question seriously, that's a good example of where something I've pulled from the strength and conditioning side of things, where it helps your performance. If it helps your physical performance, it's probably going to help your results. Elsewhere. So,
am I a good client?
Was that the next question? Are you a good client? Yeah, great client. Again, there's kind of like you get different clients, right? Some people are good, they just get a plan, they stick to it, and they go. You get those types of clients, and that is really where Mel is that she knows what to do. She does all the little things very well. She does all the basics, and then I'm there just to put the ice on the cake. And Mel is very well. She's near that top end of that kind of spectrum where she is looking for the small, marginal gains, that extra 1%. And coming from a sports science background, that's the stuff I love. Like, I love finding that stuff. Again, reading all these, like the fine details of how you can get the marginal gains, the extra 1%, the extra 0.5%, whatever. That's the stuff I really love. So again, she is at that level. Obviously, there's a lot of clients that aren't there, that are struggling to kind of just keep a calorie deficit, or struggling to just get their steps in, stuff like that. Again, Mel is on the other end of the spectrum where that stuff is done second nature now, which is really good. So yeah, really easy client to work with. And that's it really.
Yeah.
The only, we do sometimes have troubles with like the scale weight and stuff, like you still have wobbles.
Yeah, I think
everyone still has their own wobbles,
things,
but again, it's that's one of those. And as long as we understand it, and sometimes I've got to put a bit of a stop to it. Sometimes just be like, go off the weekly weight or whatever. There's little things like that, but in general, in terms of being a good client, she does everything I say, and she doesn't go off the plan. So it's not an adherence. There's never any adherence issues. Which again, if you're on track for a comp prep, there can't really be any adherence issues. So again, is she a good client? Yeah, big client.
We know that if something's not changed, like the scale weight, if it's not changing, or if something's not changing visually, it's not that I'm like munching.
Well, yeah, again,
that's another good thing that we're together though, because you can monitor everything.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another thing, is that I can see. There's always little things with clients that you don't always see. So like, I noticed recently, like Mel goes on her phone a lot before bed. And like, even though she knows that the blue light and stuff is not good for sleep,
I do wear those glasses.
Yeah, she
that's
does
one thing
glasses.
You made me do.
Yeah, that is one thing. But like, obviously with clients, whether it's my clients in person or online, there's always little things that slip through the cracks. Obviously, it's my job to provide the education as best I can, so they don't. But there's always a few things here and there that can happen that somebody might not have read that you shouldn't have caffeine before bed or something like that. There's little things like that. Obviously, I get to see a lot more of that with Mel, so there are a lot of things that we've made little changes to that can help. But yeah, there's still the odd little thing that sneaks through. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it really.
Yeah.
But thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope it's helped. Oh, Simba's still growling in the background. But yeah, it's one of those things, if you're in a relationship with someone who is a coach, it doesn't always work, and I think you have to have the conversation about it together before you decide to do it, because it is like very few people that it actually works for, and I think you have to be able to separate the two. So
I think it is very much like a team effort though. Like I've said to Matt a lot of times how the industry is in a bit of a state, and a lot of these coaches out there, it's more of a money thing for them than actually getting the results. So I'm more than happy to coach Mel, obviously for free. Like, I don't care, because I know I'd rather she get coached properly than go to someone else. Which, to be honest, if she went to someone else, I'd probably get very frustrated, because I'd probably see the plan.
Yeah, you'd end up coaching me anyway.
I'd probably pick loads of holes in it. Because again, most of these coaches don't have like an exercise science background. They don't have a very good knowledge on physiology. A lot of it is just they're copying other coaches. They're copying whatever's cool. Again, there's a lot of programs out I've seen recently. They're just copying all the exercises that are cool at the moment. Banded stuff, cut lateral raises. Everyone's just copying each other. And again, not many people are actually showing that they understand the physiology. They understand things well. So again, if she did go with another coach, and we've spoken about it before, but the coaches she'd have to go for are, very expensive per month, just for an extra few percent of benefit, if that. And again, if I see a plan and I'm not going to like it, I'll be fuming that you're paying. And
I feel like I need, like, now I've had so much attention, I don't think I wouldn't be able to go to someone else and then deal with like them not being able to see like daily changes, or like being able to just ask a question quickly, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just don't think it would work. But anyway, I think we'll stop talking now, and because it's been 20 minutes, it's a long time. But yeah, thanks so much for watching the video, guys. I hope it I don't know, helped, maybe brought a bit of insight to how being coached by your partner works. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.